An icy wind, sharp as shards of glass, cut them to the bone. Huddled on an icy bench near the entrance to the giant grocery store, Lydia tried to shield Sam from the merciless gusts. The 7-year-old boy shivered, hugging his knees, his chapped lips tinged blue. In their eyes was a mixture of despair and unbearable shame. Every glance from passers-by, hurrying past with heavy bags, felt like a fresh stab, a harsh reminder of their poverty. Ethan, a surgeon whose hands could perform miracles, but who was a solitary wanderer at heart, stopped. His sleek black SUV, gleaming under the weak April sun, seemed like an alien spacecraft in this realm of despair. He was 35, and his life was meticulously planned, comfortable, almost sterile, but something else pierced through the polished armour of his professionalism, a sharp, unexpected pang of compassion. They were freezing. Their need was stark, almost physically palpable. "Excuse me, is something wrong?" Ethan's voice was uncharacteristically soft, tinged with concern. Lydia just shook her head, her gaze dull. Pride? Or exhaustion? A sudden thought struck Ethan. He'd always needed a housekeeper. Why not help, and solve his own problem at the same time? "My name is Ethan. I'm looking for a live-in housekeeper. With accommodation, of course. This is a serious offer." He could almost see her disbelief breaking through the icy mask. "I genuinely need the help, and I pay well." After seconds of unbearable hesitation, when internal demons screamed of traps and dangers, Lydia, like a cornered animal, grasped at this straw of salvation. "I'm Lydia, and this is Sam." In her words was a fragile hope. As they walked towards the car, Ethan, whose eyes were trained to notice the smallest details, caught Sam's barely perceptible limp. "He had a bad fall from his bike," Lydia whispered, catching his gaze. "We can't afford the surgery." "His father?" The question hung in the air, unspoken but felt. Lydia answered it herself, her voice growing deeper. "There's no father. We came from a small town. There's nothing there." Ethan nodded understandingly. The same old timeless song of hopelessness. His own past was woven from a different fabric, but similar in its essence. Loneliness. His parents, medical luminaries, were constantly absorbed in their careers. He grew up surrounded only by the echo of their absence, under the care of an indifferent grandmother. She taught him to survive, to be self-sufficient, but offered no comfort. That's how his character was forged. Independent, successful, but internally detached from deep attachments. His relationships were fleeting, without commitment, precisely measured rituals, nothing more. 7 years ago, on a raw October day, a thirst for adventure led Ethan to a lake near a small town. His boat sprung a leak, and he, soaked to the bone, barely made it to shore. His only desire was to get warm. He knocked on the first door he found. A fragile girl of about 20 opened it with sea-green eyes. Serafina. She let him in without hesitation, offered him scalding tea. Her house was filled with an unsettling silence. Her stepfather a drinking monster. Her sister had left. She was a lonely, flickering light in that gloom. That night, their bodies found solace in each other. Fleeting oblivion. At dawn, her stepfather appeared, and Ethan, like a ghost, vanished, leaving behind only promises that never materialized. He convinced himself that his feelings had faded, that distance had killed the romance. But it was a lie his free life was built upon. Now, at home, Lydia performed her duties flawlessly, while Sam enjoyed toys he'd never seen before and the warmth. Ethan continued his usual routine: work, dates, sports. His relationship with Lydia developed into a strange, convenient harmony. They talked a lot, but Lydia remained a closed book, especially when it came to Sam and his father. "He just fell off his bike," was the only thing she repeated. One day, after an exhausting surgery, the phone rang. It was Jake, an old classmate. "Ethan, buddy, class reunion in a couple of weeks. Everyone's bringing wives, husbands. How about you? Got someone?" And Ethan, without knowing why, blurted out, "Of course, I have a wonderful wife." Damn, why did he say that? He wanted to show off, but had no wife, not even a suitable date for the role. Running through his many lovers in his mind, he dismissed them. Any one of them would jump at the chance. And then he remembered Lydia. Perfect, humble, unspoiled, but with incredible potential. A couple of stylish dresses, the touch of the best stylists, and she would become a diamond. She wouldn't demand anything more, wouldn't ask awkward questions. "Lydia, I need to talk to you," he said, entering the house. Lydia flinched, her face reflecting the fear of being fired. "Is everything all right, Ethan?" In the study, trembling with tension, she sat on the edge of the armchair. "I have an unusual proposition for you. Class reunion in 2 weeks. I need a companion to pretend to be my wife." Shock. That's what Lydia felt. This self-sufficient, successful man was ashamed of his bachelor status. "What about Sam?" she blurted out. It was just an excuse to buy time. "Sam can stay home. He's a big boy now. And you'll have a change of scene, get a generous reward. You won't see those people again." Ethan's voice was convincing, and Lydia, gritting her teeth, agreed. The next day, Ethan brought her a dress the colour of a midnight sky, flowing and covered in sparkles, patent leather shoes with dizzying heels. When Lydia tried on this splendour, Ethan froze, his breath caught. "Is that really me?" Lydia whispered, looking at herself in the mirror. This was just the beginning. The best beauty salon, hairdresser, makeup artist, manicurist. When she emerged, Ethan, a seasoned connoisseur of beauty, stood astonished. A tall, sophisticated hairstyle, delicate makeup highlighting her porcelain skin. She was dazzling, utterly transformed compared to the girl he had met just weeks ago. At the class reunion, all eyes were on her. Whispers of admiration, wives' envy. Lydia initially wanted to sink through the floor, but then felt a strange, sweet pleasure. She, a simple housekeeper, was causing a sensation. She danced with Ethan, and they looked like the perfect couple. That evening became a fairy tale for her. During a tour of the school, as they passed a memorial plaque, Lydia froze. In a black and white photo, in a mournful frame, Serafina was smiling. Her older sister. A spasm seized Lydia. She began to sob, unable to stop the flow of tears. "Lydia, what's wrong?" Ethan asked, concerned, leading her aside. "Serafina!" "She's my sister," Lydia choked out, and the words flooded forth, like a burst dam. "She didn't study here for long. Mum died. We moved in with our stepfather. He drank. Serafina got pregnant. The guy left. She died in childbirth, 7 years ago. Sam, he's her son. We ran away from our stepfather. He became unbearable." Ethan looked at Serafina's photo on the memorial board. The same turquoise eyes, the exact same image. His world shattered. It was that girl. He could barely keep standing. Sam, his son. He drove with difficulty. He had to tell her. "Lydia, I need to tell you something," Ethan said, his voice strained. "You might hate me." He gathered all his will to force out every word, to tell the whole sordid truth about that night, his escape, his ignorance. Lydia listened in silence, her face pale, tears streaming down her cheeks. He talked non-stop, trying to find a single justification, but there was none. How could he not have realised they went to the same school? But Serafina had only studied there for a couple of years, and he hadn't known her age then. "Lydia, we're here," he finally said. She got out of the car as if in a dream. At the house, Sam was already asleep. They went to their rooms, but sleep wouldn't come. Lydia went down to the kitchen. Ethan was sitting, looking at a bottle of brandy. "Want a drink?" he asked. She, usually indifferent to strong drinks, nodded. Too many emotions. "You didn't say anything," Ethan said quietly. "Do you blame me?" Lydia sighed. "Who am I to judge? I don't even know what I feel. But I can't judge you. You were young. The heart wants what it wants. And even if you had stayed with her, it wouldn't guarantee her life. My parents are doctors. We could have found her help," Ethan countered desperately. "But I didn't know she was pregnant. You see, Lydia smiled faintly, she didn't tell you. I don't blame her, but I don't blame you either. It just happened like that. Thank you, Ethan whispered, his eyes moist. That means a lot to me. They talked for another hour and Ethan couldn't believe he was forgiven so quickly. He sat next to her, put his arm around her. Lydia, he whispered, and their lips met. Then everything was a blur, as if some force lifted them and carried them to the bedroom, the same force that had brought them together by the supermarket. In the morning, Lydia woke up in confusion. Oh, God, what have I done? He'll probably think I'm easy. Fear drove her. She started packing her things. Ethan, who had woken up feeling reborn, saw her. Lydia, what are you doing? He was puzzled. We shouldn't have... Oh, Lydia, Ethan exclaimed, running his fingers through his hair. Should have, shouldn't have. It doesn't matter now. It happened. And I don't think you're easy. It's always so simple for you men, she retorted. Came, saw, conquered. Ethan understood the futility of arguing. All right, maybe so. But what about Sam? The boy needs surgery. I have to help him. Now even more so. He looked at her. So, Lydia, stop being silly. We'll just forget this happened and continue our arrangement. Does that work for you? Lydia nodded. Then it's settled. He left the room. Lydia sank onto the bed. She didn't like this arrangement. Forget his touch, those lips. But she had to think about Sam. Sam's surgery cost a fortune. Forget the cost! Ethan waved a hand at the chief doctor. I won't spare any expense. He had already done a DNA test. Sam was his son. A couple of days later, a happy Ethan told Lydia, I have amazing news. Sam is getting the surgery. Thank you so much, Ethan, she exclaimed, her eyes filling with tears. Ethan, he muttered to himself, going up to his study. Spent the night with her and she still calls me Ethan. He couldn't focus on work. Her soft body, cherry lips, were all he could see. He needed advice. Ethan went to his friend and former classmate Noah. Noah, unlike him, was happily married to Clara. Ethan had once thought Clara plain, but over time she had blossomed into a real beauty, and Ethan admired how Noah had seen her soul, not just her appearance. Always knew there was some lingering thread from your past, Noah chuckled. You're my psychic, Ethan chuckled without humour. Noah's right, Clara said. There was always something mysterious about you. But now, Ethan, here's what you do. When you go home, buy the most beautiful bouquet and tell Lydia you love her. Whatever happens, happens. We women love decisive men. So he did. When Ethan came home, Lydia felt a pang of jealousy, wondering who he had spent the evening with. Imagine her surprise when he presented her with a lavish basket of exotic flowers. Why? She blurted out. Just because. Ethan smiled. Lydia, I love you, and I want to be with you. If you're not ready to say it back, I'll wait, however long it takes. Silence fell. Ethan waited. Finally, Lydia smiled. Why waste time waiting? The next day they were getting Sam ready for the clinic. They'll examine you and then fix your leg, Lydia explained. Will it hurt? The little one asked fearfully. No, they'll give you a shot, and you won't feel anything, and then you'll wake up, and your leg will be like new, Ethan reassured him. Great. And will you come visit me? Of course, darling, Lydia replied. We'll visit you often. Lydia left the clinic, her heart singing. The city, which had seemed alien at first, now appeared welcoming and festive. She craved change. Seeing a hair salon, she went in, obeying an impulse. You must be in love, the stylist asked slyly, as Lydia, with the new bob haircut and light makeup, looked at her transformed reflection. Head over heels, Lydia confessed, smiling. She was no longer a worn-out single mother, but a confident woman. Miss, did you perhaps get the address wrong? Ethan asked playfully, as Lydia entered the house in a new silk robe. He openly admired her. You changed your hair? Great! Just in time. Tonight we're going to see some very good people. You want me to meet your friends? Lydia was pleasantly surprised. You are the woman I love, and I want everyone to know it. And when everything is settled with Sam, I'll introduce you to my parents too. They're wonderful. Their relationship developed rapidly, sometimes frightening Lydia. She was afraid she was betraying her sister's memory. But wasn't it Ethan who gave Sam a real father? And her, this unprecedented happiness? Lydia, your thoughts are written all over your face. Ethan laughed. You're probably thinking you won't like my parents, or that they won't like you. I've already told them all about you. Noah and Clara were delighted with Lydia. Now, that's a woman, Noah said approvingly. Wouldn't advise letting her go. You think I don't know that myself? Ethan grinned happily. Lydia, you're the only woman Ethan's been with that I actually want to spend time with, Clara confessed. What kind of crowd does he usually date? Polished opportunist dreaming of snagging a promising bachelor. But you're great, Genuine. I really want you to be my friend. Sam was recovering. Ethan personally gave him massages, while Lydia walked him around the rooms and outside. After a month, Sam could walk without support. We did it! They chanted together. Ethan bought champagne and a milkshake for Sam to celebrate their first major victory. At the cemetery, where silence reigned, broken only by the cry of a crow, they stood by a grave, overgrown with stonecrop. From a small oval photograph, a lovely Seraphina smiled at them. Hello, Seraphina, Lydia said quietly. See, sis, how life turned out. I hope you're not angry with me. Ethan thought. Seraphina, why didn't you tell me anything? You were too proud. Sam, small but so smart, asked, Is that my aunt? Lydia, through tears, shook her head. No, sweetie, that's your real mum. She gave birth to you, and then she was gone, and I took you in. I was little and I couldn't have lived alone, Sam confirmed. He didn't ask about his father. Lydia knew it wasn't time yet. A week later, Ethan took Lydia and Sam to meet his parents, Eleanor and Arthur. They weren't just expecting a daughter-in-law with a child, but a beloved grandson and the woman who had raised him. The table was laden with food. Mom outdid herself, Ethan exclaimed, handing Eleanor a bouquet. Ah, son, you always knew how to charm the ladies. Now, Mom, I only charmed two, you and Lydia. Oh, wait, Clara too, but that's different. Lydia felt comfortable. Her fears had vanished. A moment of your attention, please, Ethan said, rising from the table. He walked over to Lydia, knelt down on one knee. Lydia, will you marry me? I promise to love you for my whole life and be the best man in the world. Yes, she whispered. Of course, yes. A month later, they stood at the registrar's office. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the registrar said solemnly. The newlyweds exchanged rings and shared their first kiss as husband and wife. Happiness to you, my dears, Eleanor said emotionally. What a beauty you found, Arthur exclaimed approvingly. You look beautiful, Clara said admiringly. Noah hugged his friend and kissed Lydia's hand. Congratulations! In the limousine taking them to the reception, Sam declared, When I grow up, I'm going to marry Lily. I haven't made a formal proposal yet, he added importantly. Solid argument, Ethan concluded. Honeymoon in Paris, a dream come true. Sam stayed with his grandparents. A few days before the wedding, Ethan and Lydia decided to tell Sam the truth. Is Uncle Ethan going to be my dad now? Sam asked, as Lydia was doing his nails and Ethan was looking through a fishing catalogue. Ethan put it down. Sam, come here, please. I need to talk to you, man to man. I'm listening, the boy replied, sounding grown up. I'm not going to be your dad, Ethan said with a sigh. I already am. Your birth father. He told him the story as best he could. So, you and my mum had a romance and then you left her, like in the movies, Sam asked sternly. You could say that, Ethan nodded. We broke up, and I didn't know anything about you. He inwardly cringed at his self-justification, but the little boy was already hugging him. It's okay, Dad. Sam knew he was staying with his own grandparents, whom he had loved from day one. The newlyweds flew to Paris with light hearts. "I'm almost embarrassed to admit," Lydia whispered to her husband with a smile, "but I've never flown on a plane." "With me, you'll definitely make up for that little gap," Ethan chuckled. They hit all the sales, bought enough clothes to dress the whole town, but they planned to dress their loved ones. "You look a bit pale," Clara noticed when they met. "Yes, I'm not feeling quite right today," Lydia replied. "A little nauseous." "Something tells me it's not just jet lag." Clara smiled slyly. Lydia popped into a pharmacy. The pregnancy test was positive. Ethan was indecently happy. On the 1st of September, they saw Sam off to first grade. The ultrasound showed they were having a girl. Sam suggested naming his little sister Katie, and the future parents loved the idea. Grandpa and Grandma, already blessed with a grandson, were now doubly happy. "At home with your father, we never thought we'd live to see grandchildren," Eleanor exclaimed. The Noahs, inspired by their friend's example, were also thinking about adding to their family. "You beat me to it, Ethan," Noah laughed. "I thought I was the more experienced dad, and turns out he has a son, older than our Lily. And now they're expecting a second one. Just be quietly jealous." Sam is enjoying first grade. He loves gym class. Ethan and Lydia are getting ready to be parents for the second time, counting down the days until the happy event, their hearts filled with love and the anticipation of a happy future.